Hi, good morning, everybody. So first of all, I am incredibly humbled to be here because I remember sitting in this audience and hearing Jo Malone speak. And if everyone here knows Jo Malone, but she gave this most impressive, inspirational talk, and I was sitting in the office, in the audience, and I said, wow, maybe one day I'll be up there speaking like Jo Malone. So I'm not Jo Malone, obviously, and I haven't achieved what she's achieved, but I'm just so humble, and thank you so much, Entrepreneur Country, and to Julie for having me present today. So the title of my presentation is called The Road Most Traveled, and probably many of you have read the book, The Road Less Traveled. And there's definitely a metaphor here going on with that. So as you can see, this is a bit of a gloomy road with a lot of light at the end of it. And the road most traveled is the road that all of us entrepreneurs go on to arrive to the country that I call success, right? So that road sometimes has bumps. Sometimes there's no signs. Sometimes you hit a pothole. And sometimes you pick up a hitchhiker that has absolutely no value and just wants a free ride. And sometimes the driver fights with the passengers and the passengers fight with the driver. And sometimes you run out of fuel, right? But in the end, we all want to arrive to the great country of success. That's the most important thing. Now, here's the car, right? So you all need a car, and you have to design the right car when you go down that road to success. And some people design a car quite easily, and let's call it a business concept, right? They have an idea, they get some money, they pilot it, and off they go. And there's never any problems whatsoever, and they get lucky. But we all know many businesses don't always have that kind of luck. So I want to just stress the importance of when you design your car, that you really understand the nuts and the bolts that go into that car. And I call this the validation process when you do your business, because it's about going really, really deep into understanding that business and that concept without a doubt. Now, all of us who are entrepreneurs have been to driving school, probably, I like to say. So you've been in corporate, or maybe you've joined a startup, or maybe you got even exposed to a startup and you turned it down and it ended up being that really big one. And I remember this happened to me. So I'm going to tell you a little embarrassing story. After university, I moved myself out to California. I was from the East Coast, and I just wanted a job, right? I mean, just finished university, just wanted a job, landed in San Francisco and said, actually, what am I going to do? And I looked at the most beautiful building I could find in San Francisco, and I said, that's going to be my job. I'm just going to work in that building. I don't care what's inside it. I just want to work in that building, you know? And I went into the building. I put my suit on. I walked through security. I got in that elevator, and I did a proper elevator pitch, which was, wow, you look like you're successful. I think you have a Rolex. Can you take my CV? I want a job. And I actually did get my first job at AT&T, which was the telecommunications company in this building. And they hired me. And I was so happy out of university with this great corporate job and, you know, all the benefits, and really got it in the elevator and went on. And I remember going to this tech conference with AT&T, and someone came up to me and they said, we have this new application and we want you to try it. And I said, okay. And they said, what's your name? I said, Sherry. They said, okay. Sherry@hotmail.com. And I went, what's that? Oh, that's email. That's email. And we would really like you to sell the hotmail.com email to everybody and leave your job at AT&T. And I said, no, I can't do that. Just spent the time riding the elevator, just got that job and feel really proud and not ready to take the plunge on this thing called email yet. And, you know, you look back and I think, well, that was part of my driving school. Because what it did was it taught me how to be open-minded and to recognize that new things were coming and to not be afraid of change and to really grab onto those opportunities. And it also encouraged me to go out and do my own business one day and realize how an idea can really be magnificent and what it can really do to change the world. So that was my little story. Now, you always think it's a bit sad when the entrepreneur has to show baby pictures of herself, right? To entertain you. But there is a reason why I'm doing this, okay? So let's go ahead. After AT&T, I ended up launching a career in Germany, and I worked for Bertelsmann and loads of telecommunication companies and media. Ended up working for Symbian, which got bought out by Nokia and unfortunately doesn't really exist now. But I spent a good part of my life doing the corporate tech, business development, trying to change the world with technology. And I again went to one of these tech conferences. I was in France, and I met a very lovely, gorgeous man who came up to me and said, you're the most beautiful woman, and why don't you marry me? And it did kind of go like that, and I ended up marrying him 3 years later. And he was Italian, and I mean, what can you do? So what's a girl gonna do? So and he was really important because he said to me, well, listen, you're gonna marry me and come to Rome, and you're gonna leave this world behind, this tech world. And I was like, but this has been my whole life. He said, but you need to be true to who you really are, and you're an entrepreneur. He said, remember when you were 15 after high school, your mother told you to go and do something, and you went and knocked on a big insurance company, and you got yourself a corporate job, and you went to work every day after high school from the age of 15 to 19 for an insurance company? I said, yeah. I said, but that was an entrepreneur. He said, no, it was because you took your own initiative to go and bring an income in at such a young age. And then he said, remember when you were in university and you turned your dorm room into a travel agency? And that was how you not only got to enjoy yourself, but you funded your education. I said, yeah, I did. He said, yeah, that you were an entrepreneur then. He said, and do you remember when you were a little girl and your mother used to make all your clothes? And there are clothes that my mother made in those slides. And she said she made all your clothes, and you really admired her. She was in fashion, and you loved what she did. And you used to ask her to make you pillows and throws and blankets. And I said, yes, actually, I remember that. He said, well, that's really who you are. So when you come to Rome, I want you to be who you are and build that business that you really should build. And if you can see on this picture, I was little wearing those clothes, but then you see the picture of me actually looking through fabrics and textiles a year ago. And there's a lot of truth to, if you look back on who you really are, you actually do find a business idea out of it. Now, moving on. So he invites me to Rome, I go to Rome. Now, what am I going to do in Rome? Well, there's Prada. I was like, can I be the next Prada? I don't know. And there's a pizzeria, and there's, well, I'm not going to do technology in Rome, where am I going to begin to do that there? And I said, then there's a palazzo. And here is a palazzo, and this is actually the palazzo that I thought I would convert into a hotel. It exists today. It's been bought by Benetton now, but it's on Via Giulia. This is actually the hotel. So I said to him, I'll do a hotel. I'll take a hotel, put my beautiful things inside it, and we'll have all the tourists will come, and it will just be absolutely amazing. He said, yes, but you have one thing. You don't know anything about the hotel business. You don't know. How are you going to learn the hotel business? And I said, okay, very good. So I remember on our honeymoon, we met some people that went to a university called EHL in one of the hotels, and they were really impeccable staff. So I called the Swiss school called EHL. I said, I'm a girl from Nokia, got this palazzo on Via Giulia, I want to turn it into a hotel. I don't know what to do. I have a nice idea of what to put inside it, but I'm not really sure. Can you help me? And they said, sure. But have you really validated this hotel? Have you really thought about why people would come, what you would make out of it? Would it really make you money? I said, no, but it's a hotel in Rome. Of course people are going to come. No, well, let us get you started and let's give you some students. So they gave me 5 students, and we started some research. Well, those 5 students turned into 10 students, 15 students, 20 students, 25, and 30 students. And it took 2 years. So when I mean validate, I mean you interview everybody you can possibly think of before you develop a business, right? You really get to the nuts and bolts of it. So we started with focus groups and customers and really understanding. And actually, the really interesting thing was what came out of it at the end of this process. Actually, people wanted to buy what they saw in luxury hotels. And you think, wow, 2 years of research to come up with that. But actually, no one was selling anything in hotels at the time. It wasn't even an idea, really. And I said, okay, that's really interesting, but is that really a business, or is that just a feature of something that could be much bigger? So we delved deeper and deeper, and we said, actually, people want to buy what they see in home decoration magazines. Wow, so the feature in the hotel is just part of the home decoration magazine, so it could even be a celebrity home. They just want to get what they see in a home decoration magazine, and they can't, because at the end of the magazine, you have a stock list, you got to call an interior designer, you don't really know how to get it, or you get sent maybe to a third-party website. So really, it's a complicated situation. And then I started going up to Milan, I started speaking to Italian suppliers. Are you online? Online? No, we never go online. I said, you gotta go online. There's people out there that want your product, and they're looking for it in magazines, and they can't really get it. So let's create a marketplace that helps people find what they see in the back of home decoration magazines. So out went the idea of the hotel. In said, actually, my tech background now comes into play here because I can build an e-commerce site, I can build mobile applications, I can get these brands online for the first time, and I can showcase it and make it look like a magazine. Wow, 2 years of research, this is my conclusion, but it's a great one. So here you come to the company that I founded. So it's called The Longest Stay. It's all about create a home so beautiful, you never want to leave, it becomes your longest stay. So once I had the idea and I wrote the business plan, of course I knew no one in furniture, no one in editorial, no one in retail, and I'm sitting in my home in Rome, and I knew the company was going to be launched in London. I started using LinkedIn, and I recruited people. And that's all I could do, get on a plane, go interview people, use LinkedIn. And I recruited a fantastic team, which is fundamental. As you design your car, you have to have the right driver and the right passengers, right? So after I go ahead and I get my angel investment, and actually I want to say I met my angel investor here at this forum. So very funny, it was because of Julie and this group that I found my first angel that got me started. So that was really, really a wonderful thing. So as I get all this together, the team's ready, I go to my husband, I say, okay, we're gonna go to London, we're gonna get this thing launched, you ready to move? He's like, yeah, I'm ready to move, let's do it, been waiting for a long time. I'm in London, and I'm on my way to my office, and unfortunately, I had a shocking, terrible phone call that I did not expect. And I got the terrible news that my husband had just died of a heart attack. So I turned around, and I remember calling my team, and I said, I've had a terrible tragedy. I know you guys are a new team. I know we just met through LinkedIn, and we haven't had much time. Can you deliver what I need you to deliver? Okay, because I'm going to need some time. And they looked at me, and they said, we know the vision, we bought into the vision, and we're going to execute it. We're going to execute it, don't you worry. So the end of July is when I had that terrible news. September 9th, my website went live, and it went live with 200 products, and it was a real success. And so when I talk about this drive down the road to the country of success, really important that you have a team. And I don't mean you need to have a tragedy to test if you really have a team, but you need to know that they're going to get your back because you don't know what life is going to throw at you and how it's going to throw and what it's going to throw to you. So now, moving on. So I came back to the company, and in the last year and a half, we launched this website that went from 200 products to 3,000 products. We have 250 brands. We have a wonderful basket size of at least 500 pounds, which is amazing. Our customers stay on our site for a minimum of 3 minutes every time. And we've been in over 40 pieces of press, and people are really, really ecstatic about what we're doing to get people to buy what they see in a magazine and easily get it sent to their home. So this is just an example of one of our magazine shoots. So coming from tech, not having any background, I've styled this whole shoot. I've chosen the models, the fabrics, the clothes, the pieces, and everything. And this gives you an idea of what came out of all that research. And what I want to say about the validation process, which I didn't go into enough, I spent all this time researching. We have competitors, okay? One of my competitors built a website that you can buy what you see in a hotel. Well, we know from my research that wasn't a big enough concept. Now they're trying to expand from the hotel to other things, but they're having a really hard time redefining their brand and what they set out to do. I have another competitor, actually, who launched a website with beautiful luxury products on it, and then 8 months later launched a magazine. I guess they thought it was a good idea. But their magazine is more like a lookbook. It's not really shoots, it's not really editorial. It doesn't go into any real depth. So they're struggling, actually, and they're having a really hard time. And despite having 4 times the amount of investment we've had, they don't have the sales that we have. So this process of building the right car, I cannot emphasize enough. So my key takeaways. So what do we think, right? Make sure you design the right car as you go on your journey, the road to success. Validate, 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 if you can, as much as you can. Make sure your team are deeply committed. And we all can imagine every day is going to be pure sunshine, but if something comes unexpectedly, make sure they've got your back. What you start off with might not be what you end up with. So I started with a Palazzo. I didn't end up with a Palazzo. I ended up with a website selling furniture, completely different. And don't be afraid to keep that open mind. Prepare that you could get lost, pick up the wrong hitchhiker, run out of fuel. And when I mean pick up the wrong hitchhiker, I mean that could be an employee, that could be an investor, that could be a consultant who thinks they're an investor and they're not an investor. And we all know what they're like. So you have to be on your guard about that. And always define what the country of success looks like and make sure everyone agrees that's the destination. So if I want to think my company is going to be worth 100 million, and I'm happy with that figure and everyone else is happy with that figure, great. But if you don't want to go down the Series C or Series B route and you don't want to become owning a company that you have less than 20%, make that clear to everybody on board so that there's never a conflict of interest. Because I hear that constantly about companies, and even my company now, investors think, well, I want you to sell in 3 years. Well, maybe I don't want to sell. So you try to keep those goals all aligned. So I think that concludes my presentation. I say please shop on my website, because God, I have to tell you that. We have items from 20 pounds to 50 pounds, and that you can get everything in that picture. That's actually my house, and with my cat. So please do come and shop on my website. And as we're entrepreneurs, always looking for great talent. So come talk to me if you think you can contribute to my company, or if you'd like to invest. We're always fundraising. So that's a key. And thank you.
Because I know you so well, I know that you are one of the most resilient people on Earth. Not everybody gets hit with a kind of near-death experience of a death experience. What do you do? What can you tell the entrepreneurs in the audience who might be facing their own near-death experiences today, this month, and so forth, about keep going? What do you do actually to keep going when you get hit?
I think this might sound a little, I don't know, spiritual, I guess, but I actually do really believe in a higher power. That might sound a bit, some of you might say, oh, I don't believe in any of that, but I actually really do believe in a higher power, and I think everything happens for a reason. I fundamentally know in my heart why I'm here and what I'm meant to achieve. I don't know why I know it, I just know I know it. So every day when I get up, I know where I have to go because I see my future and I see why I'm here and I see what I need to achieve. I see how I need to give back to the world and I see how I will do that one day. And that vision I have of myself is why I keep going. And I see everything happens for a reason, and good or bad, and it does make you stronger. And at some point, you do recognize why you've had those setbacks. You do accept them.
How did you kind of keep yourself from getting hugely frustrated and kind of really wanting to get to the end during that 2 years that you spent validating? Because 2 years is a very long time when you're really wanting to get your business up and running.
Yeah. I think it's because I'm a perfectionist. And I think I knew that it wasn't good enough. And it was just something about me that said, it's just not good enough. You got to go deeper. You got to go deeper. I mean, like I said, I look at my competitor today and I see that they built the nice shiny car with the engine, but they didn't build the nuts and bolts, and they're running out. They're running out. And I look and I say, wow, you really went deep. And because you went deep in a crowded, saturated market like e-commerce, where everyone thinks everyone's online, when you go into that level, you know you're safe. You've hit the USP and you found that safe zone. And I think I was always sure that the world was going to be hyper-competitive, and I just wanted to make sure that I had the perfect concept. You know? It's the Virgo in me. Thank you very much.